Let me read for you the exchange between Todd Blanche and Michael Cohen. So you only gave him $20,000 and you took $30,000. Blanche, you stole from the Trump organization, right? Cohen says, yes, sir. Blanche goes on later on. He says, you did steal from the Trump organization based upon the expected reimbursement, correct? And he says, yes, sir. So again, that is breaking it out because essentially they walked through what it is that Michael Cohen actually paid Renfridge, and this goes back to, Jose, what you were just talking about, in this brown paper bag, all cash. He came to the Trump organization, an individual who worked for Renfridge, to collect this payment, $20,000, in which Michael Cohen paid out to this individual. The other $30,000 Michael Cohen kept to himself. Subsequently, why Todd Blanche is now saying, okay, so you stole from the Trump organization, correct? And Michael Cohen says, yes, correct. I believe what during this cross we're trying to get at essentially here is even during this time in which Michael Cohen contends that he was very loyal to the Trump organization, protecting the former president, protecting his boss at the time, a man he has worked with for so long, right, since 2007, who is seen more as a father figure even, that he would then subsequently steal from him because he felt as if he was not getting the appropriate bonus that he was due, that he was expected, guys. Certainly a big exchange there, yeah. I have to say. A momentous kind of exchange between Michael Cohen, Todd Blanche. Michael Cohen says, yes, I, in fact, stole from the Trump organization.
Wow. Wow. So I had a show planned for today. I was going to talk about Michael Cohen being a thief. And then at about 4:15 or so, everything went completely haywire. Not with me, with this hearing. It went completely off the rails. So I had to get back, jump in, recreate my outline, what I was going to talk about, how I was going to talk about it, because, oh my God, whatever your day was like, trust me, your day wasn't as bad as Michael Cohen's day, and your day probably wasn't as bad as Judge Merchan's day. This debacle, this embarrassment of a trial. If you guys are just getting home at 7 p.m., maybe you came home from work, maybe you got dinner. It's incredible. It's incredible what happened today. So let me just start you from the beginning, as you saw during that intro. I didn't really go with my 5-minute intro because I wanted to get right into this. Michael Cohen, on the stand today, admitted that he stole money from Donald Trump, from the Trump organization. The cross-examination went so well against Michael Cohen that they tied this guy up like Olga Korbut trying to do a balance beam. He was all kinds of knots, and they got him to say lie after lie after lie, and then they got him to say, yeah, I stole money from Trump. It's unbelievable. But that was only surpassed by what came later. So I'm going to have to go in a little bit of chronological order here. And I've got a bunch of things to click on because you guys, if you haven't heard what has happened, it is the most nonsensical, most corrupt, most scammy thing you'd ever want to see happen. If there's anybody at all in your circle who believes that this is even this close to being a fair trial, they're lying to you. I have people from CNN, I have people from MSNBC, I have people on CNN who are absolute Trump haters going, oh shit, something's really, really wrong here. I've been involved in a lot of going to court and watching cases. I've never seen what happened today. You are probably going to hear that being said over and over and over, that people have never seen what happened in this courtroom today. If there was any shred that this thing was supposed to be fair, it's gone now. It's completely over. The fix is in. This judge, I don't know who it was, who's gotten to him or whatever, but it's been exposed. It's been completely exposed. So I know a bunch of people are like, well, Barry, get to it. Well, you got the part of it. You got the part of it right there where it said, saw in that video, that was MSNBC, where they're like, hey, Michael Cohen went on the stand and basically told people that he stole money from Trump. Unbelievable. So I got a next video for you. This video here, let me see if I can get it queued up correctly. and make sure it's ready for you. This went on CNN. This is CNN talking about what actually happened when it all transpired. Listen to this.
Reeling from the revelation that Michael Cohen stole money from the Trump organization. That was just kind of stunning.
This has given such ammunition as to possibly fatally undermine the prosecution's case.
Forget fatally undermine. It should be over. The judge should just say, you know what, let's call it a day. We got caught. We were trying to scam Trump. We were going to try and railroad this guy and throw him in jail. Everybody knew it was coming. Only the real livid, snorting, nasty, drooling Trump haters even think that this thing was real to begin with. And now we've got to question our integrity as reporters to make sure, we don't get sucked into this crap as well. And so they're talking about it.
Argument to be made that actually you're just an opportunistic thief. I think has moved Michael Cohen from this figure where he's part Tom Hagen from The Godfather, but really more like Fredo Corleone.
I said that in one of my videos. I said that. You could go back and look at one of my videos. I called him Fredo. I said this guy is Fredo all along.
To now this guy who's just a thief.
Stealing $60,000 through fraud, which would be larceny in New York State, is more serious of a crime than falsifying business records.
So understand what he just said there. I hate when I say understand. It's just something I do. Understand what he just said there. Michael Cohen admitted to doing a felonious act which is higher than what they're even trying Trump on. Make that make sense to you. Make that make sense to me. Make it make sense to anybody. Michael Cohen admits on the stand, hey, I stole $60,000. I ripped him off. No big deal. I got to do what I got to do. Got to make some money. But you ripped off the guy you're testifying against. But it gets worse. It gets much worse. Alvin Bragg and DOJ prosecutor Colangelo knew that Michael Cohen ripped off Trump. They knew it. He went to them and said, I stole this money. And they still put this guy on the stand. They still wanted Trump so bad that they were willing to put this guy on the stand with the hope that the defense team wouldn't find out, or they didn't care. I'm thinking they didn't care. They thought to themselves, we've got this in the bag. This judge is in our pocket. We've got the jury in our pocket. We're not going to have cameras in the courtroom, so nobody's going to see exactly what's going to happen, which we're going to get into in a second as well. And so because of that, who cares if Michael Cohen stole $60,000 from him? Who cares if his crime was worse than Donald Trump's the accusation they're making against Trump? Who cares? We're going to get Trump. This is the whole idea. We know it's going to get overturned on appeal should he get convicted. There's no doubt, especially after today. The appellate court should take it in a day and go, now, toss it out. That's not their objective. Their objective was absolutely revealed today. Their objective is to convict Trump so that Biden can then, for the next 5 or 6 months, run around the country going, he's a convicted felon. He's a convicted felon. But Joe, that's not going to stick. I mean, they're going to throw it out of court. Oh, I don't know. We'll see what happens with the appellate court. Right now, he's a convicted felon. I guarantee you that was the strategy all along. Don't worry about it getting thrown out. It's going to be after the election. After what happened today, you, others who see and understand what happened today are going to look at this and go, this isn't a conviction. This is an absolute railroad of a job. You're just ramming this case through. You're doing whatever you can. Anybody with any personal integrity is looking at this now going, this can't possibly be our judicial system. It can't. How can this possibly be how we're going to be running this country? Dementia Joe, you need to get in there and call your guys and go, hey man, cut it. Cut it. Just let it go. Drop the charges. Don't go any further. We've been exposed. Everybody can see what's happening right now. Everybody knows what the next move is. It's absolutely abhorrent. It's insulting. It's embarrassing. Stick in whatever expletive you want to, and it would fit at this point. You could swear from the rooftop of your condo. At this point, our country is completely effed if this is what we got to look forward to. If anybody, I'm telling you, if anybody understands what occurred today, and they're okay with it, these people are commies and Marxists to no end. They don't care what you do, just get Trump. They don't care if it's right or wrong. We're teaching our kids right and wrong, and we're teaching these kids now who are seeing this and going, hey, it doesn't matter as long as you get Trump. Is that where we are? I wouldn't even want that to happen to Dementia Joe. To tell you the truth, I'd like them to present the evidence of everything he's done, with the way he handled the documents, whether he did the stuff in that other country over there, whether Hunter got money. Present it, try him, and if he gets off, he gets off, but at least have an equitable trial. This thing here, I don't even want to call it third world. It's below third world. It got blown up today, and we got more. So let me go to one more video, and then I'll take some comments. But it's absolutely crazy. This is again from CNN.
Truly amazing stuff that's going on right now. Some truly stunning moments in the courtroom, to be sure. Earlier today, Cohen admitting to stashing tens of thousands of dollars from Trump back.
Now think about it. If he admitted to stealing tens of thousands, 30, 40, 50, 60, how much did he steal that they haven't found? If this guy was a trusted consigliere and he was out there doing stuff on Trump's behalf before they had their falling out, before Trump saw that this guy was a scammer, how much do they have in the tank where they're like, we've already done our books. We already know this guy has stolen hundreds of thousands of dollars. Do I know that? No. But if you stole 60 and got away with it, you're not going to stop.
In 2016, that was intended to go to a technology company. Trump attorney Todd Blanche asking him directly, and I'm quoting now, "So you stole from the Trump organization?" Cohen replying, quote, "Yes, sir."
Oops, what did I do there? Hold on one second. Let me get back to that. Okay. How did I mess that up? 1 second. Okay, so let me cut that.
And quote.
All right, so he was on the stand. Blanche asked him point blank, "So you stole from the Trump organization?" "Yep, I did." On the stand in open court. What kind of man would say that? He must know they've got him 12 ways from Sunday.
"Yes, sir."
Correct. I am quite frankly shocked by what I have just heard. I mean, I can tell you, having worked at DOJ for 7.5 years, you go through training like your first week on the job, and like day 2, it's how to handle witnesses and fronting bad facts. And I was listening when we read back the transcript on how the prosecution handled these payments, and it's like they glossed over the fact that this.
Now these guys are professionals. As she mentioned, she goes, "Hey, I worked at the DOJ for 7 years. We were trained how to handle this stuff." So you got to understand that Colangelo, who's number 3 at the Department of Justice, number 3, Merrick Garland, I'm not sure who number 2 was, but he was number 3. And he, obviously a professional, understands how to try cases and deal with witnesses. And he had no problem putting Michael Cohen up on the stand. He had no problem, even though he knew, and Alvin Bragg knew, that this guy stole $60,000 from your defendant. How can it possibly be okay? Except if you know it really doesn't matter. We're going to convict him. It's going to happen. I don't really care. I'm covered. I've got my get out of jail card. You know, Alvin Bragg's worth $40 million somehow. This stinks to high heaven.
Could be considered stealing. And in my mind, I can't figure out why they did that, because they were so meticulous in explaining all of Michael Cohen's other lies.
So you can't wonder anymore. She's like, I can't wonder why they would do that. They are so meticulous. Obvious answer, Occam's razor, they didn't care. They don't care. The judge is protecting them. The jury's in the tank. We're going to convict this guy. We don't care what you find out. We don't care that you stole $60,000. We're not going to put you in jail. We're going to cover that up. But what if it comes out? Don't care. There's no other answer. They knew it. They knew it and covered it up.
Contextualizing this. And this is a lie that cuts at the heart of the evidence in the
correct. But this is significant because they appear to have caught Cohen in another lie, and this would be.
Not a lie. No, another lie. And the jury's sitting there, sitting back going, man, this guy's lying his ass off. This guy stole money. He's lying. I don't even know how this can go further. I made sure that I kept this on CNN because I'm looking at these people's faces and you know they hate Trump. You know that. And they looked at this and went, oh shit, this is some of the worst shit ever. I don't understand what's going on. This is crazy.
A lie to the other person who is allegedly part of this conspiracy, Alan Weisselberg, who prosecutors have chosen not to call because they believe that he would not testify, that he would plead the fifth.
So Alan Weisselberg, the CFO, who they think is an integral part of this thing with Michael Cohen, he's already in jail. They have custody of him, but they're not going to bring him to the stand because he may blow some stuff too much that Michael Cohen did. Think about that. We're not bringing a witness because we're worried that he could sabotage our trial. How much stuff does this guy know?
The judge has urged them to bring him in anyway. They have not done that. So Blanche, once again, now focusing on the retainer agreement.
What this also does is it puts the onus on Michael Cohen. It was Michael Cohen who arranged this scheme, the repayment scheme. If he's the one fudging to Alan Weisselberg and lying about this and twisting that, it puts more of it on him than either Weisselberg or certainly on Donald Trump.
And so far there is no direct link proved beyond a reasonable doubt to the defendant in this alleged conspiracy. There is a lot of evidence that has been presented.
We're at what, day 19? You've already rested your case with this guy Michael Cohen, and you don't have any tie to Donald Trump whatsoever. And then what happened later on, it's unbelievable.
There's testimony from Michael Cohen. There's testimony from others about conversations. But that is the goal of the defense team. Mm-hmm. And this right here, this line of questioning, so far they have established that Cohen may have lied in order to get some of this money.
But the prosecution's going to get up and talk about this. And what Michael Cohen
may have lied? No, he actually said on the stand. You don't have to use the qualifiers anymore. You don't have to say alleged. You don't have to say might have. Did you steal money from Trump? Michael Cohen's answer, yes, sir. It's not alleged. It's not an idea. It's not a maybe. He stole money from Donald Trump. But it gets even better. But before we get to the better part, I got to hear what some of you guys have to say because this is incredible. So let me make sure everything is working. Boom. Trump should take Cohen to court or sue him and many others. Yeah, absolutely. This is why they're worried about the revenge thing. They're so worried about Trump taking revenge because you screwed him over. You went after him. You went after his businesses. You went after his property. You went after his kids. You went after their livelihood, their legacy. But don't get, revenge. Don't, hey, Donald, everything's going to be okay. Bullshit. I'm coming after all of you. I'm going to do whatever I can to destroy you people once I get elected. And he should do that. And not looking the other way on this stuff. Nope. So what Robbie Lozano says, what happened with Costello? My friend, we are going to get to that. I'm trying to set the table. This was earlier in the day when they found out about what Michael Cohen did. The Costello thing is pretty much going to end this case if it was a real case to begin with. Yeah, you're right, Tim. If you're following along and paying attention, it couldn't be more obvious unless you're a commie. Yeah, at this point, the only people who think that this case is meritorious are people who don't care and just want to take out Trump. There's nobody else. Everybody else who's seeing what happens, and even like the guy who just asked what happened to Costello, when I tell you what happened to Costello and I show you even the liberal media going, oh shit, this is Cuba stuff. This is sub-Cuba stuff. Yeah, it's a left Democrat judge. Next, we may have to dismantling of the entire court system. If it's this corrupt and it's this rotten from the inside out, there's going to have to be a lot of work done. Cohen's hourglass is probably flowing a lot faster now. The Thompson twins, lies. Yeah, it comes back at you. What goes around comes around. I don't understand for the life of me. They had to have seen it coming. All the commentators say the same thing. they had to know that this was coming. They had to see, hey man, this is a train wreck. So the only way it happened is that they didn't care. I don't think anybody, unless you've got some other knowledge I don't have, I don't think anybody can convince me that this thing wasn't a railroad. There's too many competent people involved. Judge Merchan, although we can now see he's corrupt, he had to have been, competent to get that far as a judge. Colangelo, you had to be somewhat confident to be that far in the DOJ. Alvin Bragg, no, I don't have any trust in your competence. I think you were a DEI hire. But there were people there. There were people in this funnel. Not Letitia James, not Fannie Willis, not Alvin Bragg. There were people who were competent, who understood what they needed to do. Jack Smith, he's not stupid. But now we're finding out as you peel these onion layers back one at a time that this is just unbelievable. There are no words. I have no words to understand how this thing could happen other than pure corruption. Charles, you're absolutely right. Sin has to enter the White House through the Communist Nazi Democrat Party. Definitely sinful. Waylon Jennings, like your name there, they've dug their hole way too deep, and greedily now they'll have to land it. Yeah, they went too far. They overstepped. This should scare the hell out of Americans over the dumb, gullible lefties. They are programmed. Absolutely. Think about this. The way this case has gone, at this point, you've got defense attorneys probably around Manhattan going, how many other cases did Judge Merchan and Alvin Bragg fix against these people in jail? How many people are sitting in Rikers right now who this guy had to fix it and just put him away? And when you say, Barry, this is just Trump, and when you hear what I tell you in a little bit, what he did today and how he completely friggin' lost it. Donald Trump broke. I mean, absolutely broke Judge Merchan. I've never seen a judge do this in my life. Okay, so I've been saying this for a while. Let me go ahead and just jump into it. So let me give you an idea of what the hell happened today if you guys aren't aware. I did a video or a couple videos a day or two ago, and everybody has seen this guy on TV, Bob Costello. So this afternoon, they led Michael Cohen through a recross, and they were asking him questions, and they got him to elicit some information or put out some information, which allowed them to then basically put the breadcrumbs to get Bob Costello as a witness. They call Bob Costello as a witness. And if you've seen this guy on TV, he's a New Yorker. He's a former prosecutor. He worked with the Southern District of New York. He knows everybody. Everybody knows him. He's a I don't give a shit type of guy. And he got in there. And once they started questioning him, objection, 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 in front of the jury, no less. In front of the jury. Everybody saw how quick he was objecting. Not my words, the actual written text from a lot of people, and I'm going to show it to you. So I'm summarizing it now. At one point, the judge sustains the prosecutor's objection. Robert Costello goes, Jesus. And Judge Merchan loses his friggin' mind. He says, hey, listen, this is my courtroom. You got to act properly. Don't be doing that kind of stuff. I got rules here. He actually said these words. Guy rolls his eyes. This is Bob Costello. He rolls his eyes, and they continue, and he rolls his eyes again when they do another objection, because they basically objected over every single question. And he rolled his eyes again. And at that point, Merchan was broken. He gets up and tells everybody, get the hell out of my courtroom. No lie. Clears the courtroom. Throws everybody out of the courtroom. Tells Bob Costello, tells a witness to come with me. I got to talk to you. I've never, ever seen a witness taken off to the side by a judge. Just picture that. You're in a courtroom or you watched Matlock before and the judge goes, you, with me. But You can't talk to me. I'm not the attorney. I'm not participating in this. I'm a witness. You with me. Everybody else get out. Did that really happen, Barry? Yeah, that really happened. Listen to this.
Oh, in a raised voice.
Jake, the judge has just cleared the entire courtroom.
Yeah.
It appears that now this has escalated to a security concern, and the overflow is cut. We're not getting any more information. I mean, the fact that this has escalated to this.
I've got to basically rewind that because I want it to stay right here. So what you're seeing right there, he told everybody to get the hell out. He cleared the courtroom. The judge in this case went and said, everybody get out, and we're cutting all the feeds. Not that there were film feeds anyway, but you can't take any pictures, don't do any drawings, shut it down. He went to his best Chef Ramsay routine and said, shut it down. And he shut it down, told everybody, get the F out. Literally. He didn't say F, but he said, get out. Told these people to get out. Those are all the reporters and people who were in the courthouse, in the courtroom, and he said, get out. That never happens. It's not a security breach. She was wrong. She didn't know because she has never seen that happen. What do you mean we all got to get out? You got to get out. I got to square things away here. Unreal. Not making it up. So I grabbed a bunch of tweets from people who were in the courtroom, and it's pretty telling. Okay, so listen to this one. This is from Katie Fang. Katie Fang, not a Trump supporter. She works for MSNBC and NBC. She says, Merchant asked for the jury to step out. I'd like to discuss proper decorum in my courtroom. If you don't like my ruling, you don't say geez. Oh, I'm sorry. You offended? You don't say strike it, because I'm the only one who can strike it. You don't give me, this is my favorite one, you don't give me side eye, and then you don't roll your eyes. Costello on the stand says, I understand. You don't roll your eyes at me. I am the judge. Here come the judge. This is my courtroom. You shut up and sit there. I lost it. Notice when you see this, every single thread there is in a quotation. She took down his exact words. That's what this man put on the record. Those are his exact words. He completely flipped, lost it, got broke by Bob Costello. Absolutely broke by Bob Costello. Somebody else in the courtroom took additional notes. So this one. Merchan grows irate, begins excoriating Robert Costello on the stand for making a few offhanded remarks and rolling his eyes during the testimony. I guess you just have to sit like this and don't show any emotion. Are you staring me down right now? No, I'm not. Get out. Get out of the courtroom. Everybody out. Video cuts. Not that there was any video, but they cut everything else. No pictures, no audio, nothing. Everybody get out. You ever seen that before, except maybe on TV? Where a judge gets mad because somebody rolls their damn eyes? Meanwhile, Stormy Daniels got on the stand and said whatever she wanted. Michael Cohen gets on the stand, says whatever he wanted. Bob Costello gets on the stand, who knows how a judge is supposed to act, rolls his eyes. Geez, what the hell we got going on here? Get out of the courtroom! Everybody get out! Get off my train! This is a judge in Superior Court in New York City, and he lost his shit. He completely lost it. Here's Steve Cortez. And Steve Cortez is one of Trump's guys. He says Democrat Judge Juan Merchan is melting down on the stand as this show trial falls apart. And he quotes Caitlin Collins. In case you don't know who Caitlin Collins is, she was one of the women that was on that panel with CNN. She's a CNN host. She's got her own show. Wow. The judge is clearing the courtroom after dressing down Robert Costello for rolling his eyes and muttering about his objection rulings. The press is pushing back at this. Court officials are yelling. So if you can picture this, it's absolute mayhem. The judge is like, everybody get out. Well, you've crossed the line now. We're not part of the case. We are the press. We are the media. As much as we may be in the tank and we may be Democrat operatives, you can't talk to us that way. Hey, you created this monster. He said, get the F out. Not literally, but he said, get out. And now the press starts pushing back. And the press is like, no, we're not going anywhere. We have every right to be here. Then the court officials start yelling. So if you can just imagine this scene where this judge loses his shit, screams, get out of my courtroom, tells Bob Costello, you gotta come with me. The press saying, no, we're not leaving. We're the press. And the court officials, the bailiffs and everybody else going, get out. Total meltdown. Total, absolute meltdown. I could almost picture Bob Costello just sitting there going, I didn't see any pictures or drawings. I definitely could see Trump sitting there and going, you know it. He had to have felt like, this is what we needed to do. We needed to break this judge. Bob Costello walked in, threw a monkey wrench into their fake trial, and it all fell apart. Michael Cohen? Oh, you wonder about Michael Cohen? He left the building. He didn't even want to stay while Costello was testifying. He got in a limo and took off. Gone. Bye. I'm out of here. I'm dismissed. I know what's about to happen. I know that I'm about to be found out. And he was. And then Caitlin Collins, further, you got to see this one. Judge Merchan to Robert Costello before clearing the courtroom. I'd like to discuss proper decorum in a courtroom. If you don't like my ruling, you don't give me side eye. You don't roll your eyes. Then in a raised voice, Merchan says, are you staring me down right now? And she goes further to say, the jury was not in the room for this. Merchan sent them out. Then admonished Costello. Then when he was staring him down, Merchan became furious and cleared the courtroom. So the jury witnesses none of this, and the press missed whatever was said in the interim. Wow. All of this is going on in the courtroom at this point. It just enveloped into fire. Now, some of you may have seen some of the exchange in the halls of Congress the other day, where Marjorie Taylor Greene and Jasmine Crockett and AOC all got into it, and they were saying different things, but nobody said get out. None of the four jury, or what do you call them, the chairpersons, nobody said, gavel, get out. Yeah, okay, these women are going at it. They'll calm down. Well, this judge cleared the courtroom. This judge said, I've had enough. I'm done. Get out. We need to talk. Think if you've ever seen or heard anything like this. I've never seen nothing like this. You got why are we not seeing anything like this? Well, remember, a Trump acquittal will cost Lauren Merchan, the judge's daughter, a lot of money from her Biden Democrat consulting and fundraising business. She's raising millions. He's wrong. She's raising tens of millions, including from her father's trial of Trump. She gets a percentage. How dirty is that? Judge Juan Merchan must know he has to deliver for her. So all of this is going on, and people, and Laura Loomer actually put out a chart today of all the people who've been giving Laura, is her name Laura? Yeah, Lauren Merchan, money over the last couple weeks. So the Democrat Party has been funneling money to Lauren Merchan to the tune of tens of millions of dollars, while her father is the judge running the Trump trial. And today, that whole machine came undone right in front of everybody. Just went, just died. They don't know what to do. So let me take a couple comments before I continue here. Dashund Costello busted the case wide open. He didn't have to do anything. He just had to show up. He was like the Pantangeli's brother in The Godfather. He just showed up. Michael Cohen took off. They started asking questions. The prosecution started objecting, and he's rolling his eyes, and they lost it. Don't roll your eyes at me. I'm like, I don't know. Are you my wife? Are you my mom? What do you mean don't roll my eyes at you? Have you ever heard a judge say something so crazy? John Paul says we need justice reform big time. Judge can't handle the stress. The corrupt donors won't pay up. People are going to have to run at this point. Merchan pulled the cart man. Respect my authority. If no one sees the millions of dollars are given to judges' families for this, and lock that judge up. If no one sees it, yeah, it's got to be exposed. I mean, it's not going to be hard if somebody digs in. Oh, here's something else too that you might want to understand. They got Cohen. Okay, I do YouTube. I have probably, and on some of my videos, I do more views than Michael Cohen. There's a lot of people out there who do a lot more views than me and a lot more than Michael Cohen. On the stand today, Michael Cohen said he's made $4 million off of TikTok and his podcast and his merch. $4 million. I'm going to tell you right now, that's not possible unless people are laundering money. I said it before in one of my videos, and today he confirmed it. $4 million? People are giving you $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 at a time? Who? Who is sitting there with their phone? Hey, Michael Cohen's on. Okay, let me give him $2,000. Oh, let me give him $3,000 anonymously. Oh, Sugar Daddy 125, $3,000. Who's Sugar Daddy 125? Could be anybody. Could be anybody in the world funneling money to Michael Cohen to get up there and lie. Everybody is grifting on this case. The judge, not the judge, I can't say that. The judge's daughter, Michael Cohen, Stormy, everybody's banking on this case. Everybody else is looking the other way going, you know, those of us who are on the Trump side are like, is this okay? Are we really going to just turn our eyes away from this and see all these people making money? Millions? We're not talking 10, 20 grand. We're talking millions. Is there nobody going to investigate where this money's coming from? How in the hell is Michael Cohen making $4 million off of a podcast and a TikTok page? You got some of the guys, the biggest names in the world. Kim Kardashian, and you know, you can name that person, The Rock. You got all these people who are pushing out content. Big names. And you got Michael Cohen saying I make $4 million over a couple months on TikTok. Not happening. Not even happening. That'd be if I was Trump's DOJ and I want to go on that revenge tour, that would be one of the first things I would look at. Where did that money come from? Judge Merchan, I need to look at your daughter's donors. I need to see where this money is flowing from. How much of it is kickback for sending money over there somewhere? Remember, billions of dollars have gone overseas. We're to assume. And then when you ask, you know, these departments, can you give us an audit? We don't even know where that money is. What? What do you mean you don't know where the billions of dollars went? Sorry, we don't even know. And nobody says anything. You're telling me you basically misappropriated or lost billions of dollars, and the American people are just supposed to pony up more and more and more, where we don't even know where you've spent it. Meanwhile, you got guys like Michael Cohen saying they made $4 million on TikTok and merchandise. Come on, man. I'm not that stupid. Especially since now I'm in this business. I understand what audiences are. I understand in terms of how many views you get and what kind of reciprocative money you get from it. You ain't getting $4 million. It ain't happening. And he admitted in court that his entire livelihood is based upon trashing Trump. That was something else that came out today. So then they asked him, so in other words, you would lie to make sure this happens. Yep. He agreed to that too. And I'm thinking to myself, you can't make this shit up. The jury did hear that. So you would be willing to lie to make money. Yep. Okay. And we're all just supposed to sit back and say, this is normal. This is normal shit. Fox had something to say about Sleepy Cohen being broke. Allegedly, he doesn't have money, tons of loans. Nope. He got on the stand, raised his hand for whatever that's worth, and said, I've made $4 million. And then they went through some of these consulting agreements he's had, which are similar to Hunter Biden. He got $1.5 million from AT&T or somebody, $300,000 from this company. Consulting what? 50 grand a month, 80 grand a month. People were throwing him money left and right. He was telling everybody that he was Trump's personal attorney, and he wasn't. He was lying to them too. Said that on the stand. Yeah, I told them that. Why'd you tell them? So they pay me. It all came out today. Everything came out today. Nothing else to really know. Judge lost his shit, cleared the courtroom, threw the press out, got rid of Costello. I guess he may be back, when they come back to court, if they come back to court. This is an epic fraud on the American people. Unreal. Yeah, Jackie, you can type it. I just can't say it. Mm-hmm. Hey, Rod, how are you doing? All right, so let's talk about some more of this stuff. So let me go. Where did I leave off? And Steve, there's Caitlin, Mike Davis. All right, so here's somebody else that was in the courtroom. Who is this guy? He's on Trump's communications team. Cool. Okay, he's a lawyer. Breaking. Merchan, visibly exasperated, hastily ends the day's proceedings. Everybody go home. Everybody, I don't know where you got to go, but you got to get the hell out of here. Implores jurors not to research the case because there's guys like me talking about it tonight. So make sure you avert your eyes. We don't want you seeing this. Wink, wink. Are you kidding me? These are real people. You don't think that they're walking out going, what the hell just happened? You don't think these people, when they get home, don't have that studio in their hands and can look and see what happened today? But don't you research it? Okay, it's everywhere. Don't look at the media, don't look at email, don't look at telephone, text, or the internet. Good luck with that. You just told 12 people who saw something happened where this court case exploded. The media is freaking out. Everyone that's still in the courtroom is typing furiously. And you're telling these 12 people, don't, two of whom are lawyers, don't look at anything. What? Okay, I won't look at anything. He reminds them that they should not Google or discuss the case outside the courtroom. Okay, I won't. Abruptly says, have a good night, then cuts out the video. On hot mic, urges Costello to step down from the witness stand. Merchan is obviously disgusted by Costello, whose testimony has thrown a huge wrench into Bragg's case. Unlike anything we have seen thus far this entire show trial. Boom, fireworks. Absolute fireworks. I was sitting, as I normally do, and I watch the different news shows on different screens, and I'm seeing this stuff, and I'm seeing everything pop up, and I'm seeing Twitter go off, and I'm like, oh shit. What is going on? This is crazy what I'm seeing here. It just keeps happening. So the show I had planned, I had to quickly just come back and find all this stuff. This is from Bernie Kerik. Bernie Kerik is a former New York City Police Department commissioner, 40 years, right? Okay. Had to see it for myself. Judge Juan Merchan appears to be a member of the prosecution's team, as he's doing everything possible to prevent President Trump's legal team from putting on their case. Yep, it happened. Julie Kelly, who's dug into so many different things with the Miami case, she gets this out. Some jurors immediately picked up on what Merchan was doing. He's starting to make Judge Chutkan look good. I believe she was one of the judges down in Miami who they had to basically make recuse. So this guy here, Norm Eisen, if you don't know who Norm Eisen is, let me just tell you. Norm Eisen is a legal commentator on CNN, and he absolutely hates Trump. Hates him. He's not a never Trump. He's a I hate the guy's guts Trump. He writes, Judge upholds objection to Costello answering a question. Costello exclaims, Jesus. Judge leans over, I'm sorry? What'd you say? What'd you say to me? Jury gets it. Some raise eyebrows and shake their heads. All right, so what you're hearing is Judge Merchan has lost control of the courtroom. It's over. The jury saw a bunch of this stuff take place. He didn't get him out the courtroom fast enough. A lot of people are going to tell you the jury wasn't there. Obviously, the jury was there for part of it. They saw the initial exchange. They saw when this judge leaned over and said, "What you say, mother? What? You know who I am?" And they all raised their eyebrows and went, "Something ain't right here, man. Something ain't right." The jury is tainted. At minimum, this is a mistrial. So what happened later on, let me see if I can find this, is Andrew Giuliani, who, if you really want to find out what's going on in this case, you might want to find Andrew Giuliani on Twitter and follow him. Yes, he is Rudy Giuliani's son. I believe he's also an attorney as well. Let me see. Not really sure. He was a candidate for governor. He's probably an attorney. So he covered the entire thing minute by minute. I was following him all day. And so at the point where all this crap happened, okay, so let me show you here. All right. Let me go here. Yeah, all right. The jury is left. Merchant has dismissed Bob Costello from the witness stand. He is exiting stage right. Costello obviously has mastery of the courtroom, and this could definitely affect the jury. Now he goes into what happens next. Blanche, Trump's attorney, gets up and makes the case that the case should be dismissed. Mr. Cohen on the stand admitted that the business records were not falsified. There's no other evidence that the invoices were mishandled, and there's no evidence of any intent, which they have to prove, of fraud by President Trump. And he goes on and he's making his case here in terms of what's going on. And he just kept going and telling, you didn't do this, you didn't do that, you didn't prove this, you don't got squat. And he just keeps going. So it gets to the point where at this point, and you can see the dismissal attempt continues. There's no way that this court can let this verdict go to jury on Mr. Cohen's testimony. He lied under oath. He lied to the court. He stole money from the defendant. Blanche now highlighting the October 24th call and how Cohen changed his testimony. And then, of course, what'll happen? Yeah, Blanche said that the Cohen irrefutably lied under oath. Irrefutably. Now, look at what Judge Merchant says. Can I? Yeah, I'm going to have to raise it up. Okay. He says, you think he irrefutably lied under oath, and you think that it'll fool 12 New Yorkers? What the hell does that mean? This guy is completely lost. And so then, of course, the prosecutors jumped in and they're complaining, you can't dismiss it. We got to take this to the jury. We got to convict him. Oh my God, we got to convict him. I don't know what we do if we don't convict him. And it gets to the point where he says, dismissal decision incoming. And what Judge Merchant did and said, he's going to reserve the decision until tomorrow morning. We are dismissed, not from the trial, but from the courtroom today until 9:30 a.m. tomorrow. Judge Merchant couldn't take it. I'm done. I'm out of here. I got to go get recomposed. I got to call the Biden administration on the bat phone and figure out what they want me to do. How do I fix this? The jury's all freaking out. I had to send them home. The press is all freaking out. They're going nuts. What do I do? And hey, Judge, if you were a true judge, if you were a fair judge, if you were equitable, if you really cared about the American jurisprudence system, you have no choice but to dismiss this case at 9:30 a.m. Don't hold your breath. I doubt he's going to dismiss it. I doubt he's going to do anything but continue and try to get this thing done. Try to his best to get a jury to convict Donald Trump. That is the end game. They have to convict him. Can you imagine if they had to dismiss this case and Trump could then start campaigning and said, look at me. They did it to me again. All they did was try to come after me and I beat them. That would be just their worst friggin' nightmare. So, today on the 5, which I was able to catch, Listen to Judge Janine as she talks about it.
How can this be stunning?
Well, it's stunning because they have a political agenda, but I have always said that Michael Cohen is the linchpin of this case. The linchpin of this case has been attacked, and his credibility is totally destroyed. I mean, today everybody was blown away when he admitted, yeah, I stole $60,000. He should be indicted for grand larceny. And the amazing thing is, the Southern District knew about it. The Cy Vance, the DA in Manhattan, knew about it. Alvin Bragg knew about it before the statute of limitations ran. But instead, what...
Understand what she just said there. They knew about Michael Cohen stealing $60,000 from Donald Trump before the statute of limitation ran out. They could have charged him. They looked the other way on Michael Cohen's felonious act of stealing $60,000 so they could prosecute a misdemeanor. Think about that. $60,000. This guy admits to the state prosecutor, the federal prosecutor, yeah, I stole it. I had to. I had to pocket that money. I needed it. All right, we won't bring that up then. Think about that.
They do is they catapult him to the centerpiece of the corruption that Donald Trump is engaged in. Look, the bottom line here is that Michael Cohen pretty much canceled himself out. But the defense made a decision. We're going to call Costello. People will criticize it. I contend it was the right decision to make. Cohen.
Oh, absolutely right decision. You saw what happened. People may criticize the decision to call Costello, but it was worth the price of admission. If Costello showing up, think about that. If Costello showing up caused Judge Merchant and Michael Cohen and everybody else to just completely disintegrate, to dissolve, because he looked at you with a side eye, he rolled his eyes and went, "Jeez," and it caused you to break. Oh, it was definitely the right decision. It was worth it just for people to see that.
Is the most credible witness I've heard so far in this case. But this goes to the issue of the judge and the important role that a judge plays in each and every other case. A judge doesn't just decide, is this evidence going to be admitted? Will I allow it or not allow it? Will I charge this? Will I charge that? The judge sets the tone of the room. And this judge is so corrupt.
I love that she roasted him. Roast him. Go ahead, Janine.
He should have recused himself. I'm not going to go through it again. But the prosecution knew he was on their side. Every time Costello tried to talk, the prosecution objected, interrupting the story so that there is no coherent story in front of the jury, to the point where Costello goes, and this guy Costello is well respected in New York. He goes, geez, and the judge flips out.
Just from that, just from going, geez, man, and rolling his eyes, the judge flips because he knows the jury can see it. And the jury knows that this guy is an esteemed, credentialed lawyer in New York City. They understand that because they had to voir dire and tell everybody who this guy was and why he was important. And I'm sure over the last week, they've seen him on television. He's been basically on every network that he could get on. He's been on almost every YouTube channel where people have clipped. And he was out there letting people know this guy's an idiot. The fix is in. He's lying. And Judge Merchant absolutely lost his shit.
The judge doesn't just say, keep your client under control. He sends the jury out. He clears the courtroom and starts screaming, keep this guy in line. I'm not going to take this anymore. And he admonishes him as soon as he takes the stand and then rips him apart. However, he gets in this adult porn star who does what for a living, and he lets her talk about everything from, how brief the encounter was to whether or not he was a condom and all this other nonsense. This jury now knows, as a result of the way he's handling Costello, the defense's first witness, that this judge is not on the level.
Bingo. At this point, everybody saw it. The reporters, the jury, the cops, the bailiffs, everybody saw, hey man, this stinks. This don't look right. Why are you freaking out? Why are you clearing the courtroom? What are you concerned about? Why is this guy rolling his eyes bothering you when we just saw a porn star up there saying all kinds of crazy stuff? That didn't bother you. You just sat back and let it happen. You let Michael Cohen lie after lie after lie. Bob Costello, a well-respected attorney, gets on the stand and basically, without even having to say anything, he went, geez. And he rolled his eyes, and that caused you to lose it in front of the jury. Think about that. 2 nonverbal actions caused this guy to completely, absolutely melt down in front of the jury. So he's going to be pissed. Understand, tomorrow morning, tonight, he's pissed off. He's going to come after Trump really hard. He's not going to dismiss this case. In fact, he's going to try and push harder for a conviction. You watch. You'll see what happens. This guy was embarrassed thoroughly to the entire country.
And for those people who say it wasn't worth it calling Costello, the signal sent to this jury is that this judge is definitely not on the level, and that Michael Cohen, who went from, I got nothing to give the prosecution, nothing to give them, about to kill himself, has had a lobotomy, because now, you know, in spite of the fact that the president listened to everything he said, and in spite of the fact that he's a serial liar, stole and surreptitiously recorded him, Michael Cohen is not to be believed.
So they obviously can see all this. Everybody can see it. Now, if something interesting happened after court, he clears the courtroom, he dismisses everybody, tells everybody go away. Trump is usually quite prompt in terms of coming out and talking to the people after the hearing. He and his team stayed in the courtroom for about 30 to 40 minutes huddling. They are coming up with some sort of strategy. I don't know what they're going to do, but there was something that they had to discuss after the hearing. I don't know if his attorneys picked up on something. I don't know if he picked up on something, but something is about to happen in the next day or so. Just listen to what he has to say when he comes out tomorrow, or whenever they go back to court. I think 9:30 tomorrow. But this broke this judge. This embarrassed this judge. He's a wounded animal at this point. And as a wounded animal, he's probably going to lash out at Trump. This isn't good for America whatsoever. If it was good for America, if he was thinking about really running a valid trial, he would walk into court tomorrow and say, I, Judge Merchan, I tainted the jury. I lost my shit. Michael Cohen's a thief. I'm just going to dismiss this. There's no coming back from it. I don't care what channel you turn on tonight. I don't care if you turn on MSNBC. I don't care if you turn on CNN. There's no coming back for what happened today. Literally, a bomb went off at that New York City courtroom. Michael Cohen, lie after lie, yeah, I stole money. That was enough. And then Bob Costello causing this entire thing to blow up. I mean, it's going on 8 o'clock tonight. You know Costello is either going to be on Laura Ingraham's show or Jesse Waters, but probably Sean Hannity. He's probably going to be on one of those shows. As well, Alan Dershowitz was in the audience. Alan Dershowitz showed up, of all days, he showed up to show support for Trump. So this guy is a masterful attorney. I don't want to get into his other stuff. And he saw this thing completely melt down. He's going to be on TV probably tonight as well. I'll make a video about it tomorrow and I'll clip it for you guys. But it's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. Can the jury override? Can the judge override the jury decision? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what in New York law, so I can't really speak to that. Mistrial, I would think at minimum it would be a mistrial. Elijah Pond says he better dismiss this case. Let me see what some of the other people are saying here. Lois King said, I still don't, what happened? I still don't understand how this judge and Bragg brought this to trial. Against our Constitution, Trump's rights have been violated. Absolutely. The only people before probably today who thought this was a valid trial were left-wing networks and left-wing attorneys. After today, you'd have to be a complete wacko to think things are correct. I mean, literally, you'd have to you'd have to be basically almost a Marxist commie person. You know at this point that Trump's rally on Thursday in New York City, like, oh my God, I'm going to do it live if he has it, is going to be just incredible. You know what they did to him on Thursday? They're only allowing 3,500 people to attend. They're screwing this guy every way they can. He's having a rally, but watch what happens. They're going to probably shut down Manhattan. I bet you there's going to be 20, 30,000 people that show up that can't even get into the venue because they don't know that they're only allowing 3,500 people into the park. They're going to shut down the freeways, Long Island Expressway. It's going to be an absolute mob scene. He is going to take over New York. He's going to take over the South Bronx. And at this point, I'm going to say it. At this point, Trump should just say, to hell with your friggin' gag order. I'm going loose. Let me know if you agree with that. Hey, do it. Want to put me in jail at this point? Go for it. After what I saw today, if I was Donald Trump, and maybe that's what they were talking about after court, I'd be like, F you, I'm talking, and if you want to stop me, give it your best. Go for it. Put me in jail. I dare you. I double dog dare you. You're a piece of crap. Alvin Bragg's a piece of crap. Your daughter's a piece of crap. Just let him have it, Donald. Just go for it at this point. You've got nothing to lose, especially if he doesn't dismiss this case tomorrow. Hold your tongue. Wait till 9:30, 10 o'clock tomorrow. Let's see what he says. But if he says, nah, it's all right, we're still going to go forward, let him have it. Just go ahead, double-barreled. Everybody, Eric, Don Jr., everybody, let this judge have it. Because I've had enough. After what I saw today, I personally have had enough of this. Anthony Bono said it just won't be South Bronx residents. Thousands will be coming from all over. Yeah, exactly. Shelley says, corrupt scumbags, keep praying. Yes, make sure you do that. Because this is going to get ugly. I don't know what these people are capable of. God forbid me for even thinking some of the things. But now the desperation is going to be palpable. If he dismisses this case, shit's gonna hit the fan. Yeah, Raymond, I would, if I were him, hey, give me a cage in Rikers. I don't even care. I'm not taking this crap anymore. Not at all. Hi, Shelly. Love you too, man. Thanks for turning on. Noiser too. Thank you as well. Lauren commission. Wow. The judge's daughter's commission on the money she has taken in has already reached $7.3 million. I'm blown away as a true American patriot citizen. This is totally disgusting. You're absolutely right. Rod Harper says, I don't like the idea of Trump going to jail where these super desperate people could do something really bad. Nope. They would have to have Secret Service. He still has Secret Service coverage, so he'd probably have, like, remember, I was talking to my wife about this. Remember the movie Goodfellas when Paulie and some of the guys had to go to jail, and they were getting lobster and fine wine and steak and everything, and they had their own area? That's what I could see Trump doing. I could see Trump being in, like, cell block 6. He's got the whole wing. They're bringing in, the best wine and caviar. I could see something like that. Hey, Michelle B., what's going on? How you doing? Blown away. John Paul says, blown away. Seriously, you thought Democrats weren't that low? Yeah, they're that low. They are that low. Now, I didn't even think about this myself until I heard what Jesse Waters said about what Cohen did. Listen to what Jesse Waters and how he shreds Cohen and brings up something that I never thought of.
Well, the president said something incorrect there, and I have to correct the former president. He said that there's no crime here, and that's just wrong. There is a crime, and we found out today Michael Cohen's a thief. 19 days into this trial, we finally have a crime.
Finally, now we know there was a crime committed. And it was Michael Cohen stealing $60,000 from Donald Trump.
Larceny. He stole 60 grand from his client. And then he took the rest. He paid 20 grand in cash in a brown paper bag to the contractor he was stiffing.
And that came up today, too. He stuffed 20 grand into an actual brown paper bag, delivered some guy he was paying off 20 grand, told Trump, though, that he was paying the guy like 80 or 100,000 and kept the rest. You don't think Trump knew he stole from? Absolutely. I bet you he knew.
This is the guy. This is the star witness. So now the jury sees Trump as a victim. Yeah. He's a crime victim. This whole case rests on this one thing. Trump knowingly signing off on a false invoice. Cohen doctors this invoice, and that proves that Trump didn't know he was signing off on a false invoice.
Mm-hmm. Bingo. So in order for this to be connected, you're having to say that Trump knew you were stealing the money. Because think about what he just said. You're giving him an invoice for X. He thinks, hey, I'm paying X. Everybody approves it. But you're stealing it. You're stealing a bunch of money. So obviously, I wouldn't have gone along with you stealing money from me. I thought I was paying for something.
That blows the whole case up. Why would he sign off on an invoice that robs him of 60 grand? He wouldn't. No. He's in a conspiracy with the guy who's stealing from him? Some conspiracy? Michael Cohen didn't even tell the CFO. How is this all a conspiracy? Michael Cohen looks like he's running this entire thing. The key document is now tainted. This summary of this legal expense is tainted to the jury. And the defense did a great job today putting out all of these legal things that Cohen had been doing for Trump, the organization, and the Trump family for the entire year of 2017 that would justify these legal expenses. Now, Alvin Bragg knew about the phone call that happened, that blew up, that never happened, and then he also knew about his star witness stealing 60 grand.
Alvin Bragg is a POS. No doubt about it. This guy is even more corrupt than Judge Merchant. He's an absolute piece of crap. This guy should not be allowed to practice law anywhere. He's obviously on the take. There's no way this guy should be worth $41 million. And he did all this knowing that Michael Cohen was a crook.
So the jury must feel like totally railroaded here by the prosecution. It showed today that Michael Cohen told everybody he knew that Donald Trump was innocent, had no knowledge of this payment, had nothing to do with this payment. And the minute the feds raided his office and said, you have 48 hours to plead guilty or you and your wife are going to go to prison for a long time, he flipped.
Bingo. There it is. This guy had no problem, had told his attorney, Bob Costello, Trump's done nothing. I don't have anything on him. Bob's like, well, you don't have anything on him that we can give the feds? Nope, I got nothing. I'm going to jump off a building. I want to commit suicide. Maybe my wife can get the insurance policy. I'm done. I don't have anything. The feds say we're going to put you and her in jail if you don't give us something. Guy looks himself in the mirror and says, I got to protect my wife. What do you want me to say? I'll say what you want me to say. Dan Goldman from Congress helps him prep his testimony. They took a year almost helping him prep his testimony. Understand that. Michael Cohen has spent the better part of a year coming up with his testimony with the prosecutors. And this is what they came up with. No wonder Biden is hiring Steven Spielberg to do some videos for him. You're watching Hollywood in action. It took you a year to come up with this scheme, and it just fell apart in one day.
And then that's why you bring in Costello, because Costello comes in and says, yeah, at the height of his pressure, where he was suicidal, and he would do anything he could to give the feds whatever they wanted on Trump, he told me he had no dirt on Donald. So he's got to be telling the truth there, because if he had something, he would have served it up to him. And then they wouldn't let Brad Smith, this Federal Election Commission lawyer, come on.
All right, so Brad Smith is a Federal Election Commission lawyer. He wanted to come in and talk about campaign fraud. I mean, he was involved in writing some of the statutes. He's an expert. I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to tell the jury what is and what isn't campaign fraud. Who else better? I wrote the friggin' law. The judge says, no, we're going to use Michael Cohen to tell us what campaign finance laws are. And people were like, even on television, were like, well, Michael Cohen doesn't work in the Federal Election Commission. Why the hell would you have Michael Cohen given the Federal Election Commission laws? Which, by the way, doesn't even really matter, except for the fact of just trying to let the jury know that there's no federal campaign finance laws here, because this is not a federal court. This is a state court of New York. So it shouldn't matter. Remember, as of today, no tie to this federal election campaign finance thing has been made. It is not a federal crime that these guys can even be talking about. Alvin Bragg and Colangelo, working for the state of New York, do not have the jurisdiction to even talk about a federal election crime, if there was one. They don't have the jurisdiction. So this guy was going to come in and say, basically, hey, I'm going to explain to you why this is not a federal campaign law violation, and the judge said no.
To say that this isn't a crime, this payment, this NDA, it's not an illegal campaign contribution. Now, this is the former president of the United States. Not only are you gagging him, keeping him from campaigning, you're not letting him put on an expert witness?
Which that makes absolutely no sense. How can this guy not be able to present the best defense that he possibly can? I mean, that is central to the defense of somebody who's being accused of a crime. Hey, listen, I'm going to need to do this to show you guys that I'm not guilty of this. Nope, we're not going to let you do it.
What the hell is this? And then you have Cohen admitting he made $4 million on anti-Trump books and podcasts. And he's shopping a third anti-Trump book. He's shopping a Netflix deal. And he's considering running for Congress.
Yep, he actually said that today. That was probably the most farcical moment of all of this, where Michael Cohen on the stand said, I'm considering a run for Congress. Is that where we are? Is this where we are in this country? Where somebody like Michael Cohen, who's an admitted liar, perjurer, felon, now we can add thief to everything, has no problem, number one, making $4 million on TikTok, and now, thinking about running for Congress. Why? Because I can get a bunch more donations. I mean, for what I heard today is AOC, who was a broke bartender when she got elected, now is worth $28 million. Nobody looks into this stuff. No big deal. It is what it is. It's a one big, giant ass money grab, and nobody cares. And so now they're going after this guy, Donald Trump. We've got to teach him a lesson. We've got to teach anybody else who wants to step into this realm, teach them a lesson as well. And you've destroyed the entire integrity of the American judicial system to try and get this one guy. It's a shame. The America as we knew it does not exist. So tomorrow at 9:30 or thereabouts, court reconvenes at 9:30. Probably shortly after that, he's going to basically make his decision on whether he's going to declare this a mistrial or dismiss it straight up. I don't think he's going to do either. I think this guy has his marching orders. I think he's been paid his pieces of silver. And here we go. We're going to convict Donald Trump no matter what. Sorry, didn't work out. Bob Costello, you rolled your eyes at me. I threw out everyone in court. I've blown the integrity of this entire case because I have to convict this guy. I have no choice at this point. Unreal. Unreal. Must be nice to be a prisoner. What does the limousine and no handcuffs? When this is done, Cohen and the judge will get a very large colonoscopy. Yeah, baby, send it in. Yep, I sure hope so. Marie says, please convince me what Midas Touch Network gets wrong compared to here, because it is exact opposite. Oh, that's easy. Okay, I'm going to close on that. This is a great question, because it also has to do with the networks. The networks have to, until today, some of them actually came around and said this is crazy, but the networks have to keep telling the people who watch the network what they want to hear. The people who watch the network, they're not told, go look at this yourself. They're not giving them the exact information. They're giving them opinion, and their low intelligence just clicks off to and watch old reruns of Basketball Wives or something, and they just take it as carte blanche. They just take what is said as carte blanche because the networks have to keep you tuning in. So, Barry, don't you do the same thing? No, I don't really care. I'm going to tell you exactly what transpired. I'm not making any bones about it. I am telling you exactly what happened. Will they tell you that? Will Midas Touch tell you that? No. They tell you what they want you to know because they know what you want to hear. You want to hear that Donald Trump is a scumbag and nothing you saw today matters, and that all we're going to do tomorrow is basically move towards convicting him and throw him in jail and Orange Man bad, because that's what you want to hear. Straight up. Nothing you heard today. One of the guys on MSNBC said the $60,000 that Cohen stole wasn't a big deal. He deserved it. And people are like, what? Are you serious? Are you okay with somebody stealing $60,000? You're okay with that just so long as you get your conviction. It was that guy Lawrence O'Donnell. There's a video probably floating around with him on it. And him saying, I don't care. Well, he didn't say the words, I don't care. He said, it's not a big deal. Don't worry about it. He was deserved. That's what he said. That's what they want to hear. That's what that audience wants to hear. They don't want to hear fact. Otherwise, they won't tune in. So the guys over at Midas Touch, they have to lie. If they tell the truth, and they say, you know what, this thing could end in a mistrial, there's grounds for it, or this thing could be dismissed, there's grounds for it. But the judge, he's not going to do all that. Trump is guilty. And I'm telling you that if you watch their shows, that's what you're going to hear. It's not a big deal. Everything was fine. Remember, this entire case, from day one to today, none of it was televised. Everything you're hearing from me, from Jesse Waters, from Judge Janine, from CNN, everything is a second-party discussion. Even the tweets I showed you, it's second-party knowledge. Nobody was able to turn it on and watch for themselves, and that's what they were counting on. So the thing that you have to do when you're looking at this and you're looking at other networks is try to put together that mosaic and say, okay, here's what I heard happen by people who were actually in the courtroom. And what this guy over here is saying is total bullshit. And that's why when I do these videos, I try to show you what people on other networks are saying. That's why I try to show you what they're tweeting out and everything else. And so you can actually get a good barometer. When I showed you, where is her thing? Yeah, when I showed you this from Caitlin Collins, CNN reporter, CNN talking head host, when she says at the bottom, the press is pushing back at this, court officials are yelling, that's not Fox. That's not Judge Janine. That's not Mark Levin. That's not Tucker Carlson. That's a left-leaning host. I guarantee you on the Midas Touch and some of these shows, they are not showing you what right-sided people are saying. They don't want you to know. I want you to know everything. I want to bring you the entire gamut so that you, as an intelligent person, can make your own decision. If you choose to do further research, I showed you the names of the people. You can dig through their feed and you can see what's been said. That's what I think is missing in today's media. People who are willing to say the truth, even if it affects them negatively. If I were to come up here and say something that I know you as a Trump fan would hate, but it's true, I'm going to say it. I'm not going to hold back. Do I know if Stormy and Trump got it on? I don't. So I can't definitively say it. Does it look like it? I don't know. It could. Would I put it past him? No, he was a playboy billionaire and he was doing some crazy stuff. I understand that. Did he say that stuff on Access Hollywood? Yeah, I heard his voice say it. Did he do what E. Jean Carroll said? I don't know. There's no proof of that. So that's what I mean. Make your own decisions. And that's what they're trying to keep you away from doing. They don't want you going to do your own due diligence. You work, you've got families, you may go to school. That's why guys like me probably appeal to you, because I can bring it to you. So if I know that you're trusting with me with your time, I want to make sure that I give you the best possible picture that I can. And that involves looking at both sides and seeing who's credible and who's not. Who's basically blowing smoke up your ass and who actually is looking at this from a legitimate point of view. Because eventually, one day, Trump won't be in the picture. Eventually, one day, Biden won't be in the picture. If you sell out your integrity today, you have nothing tomorrow. There is nothing for you to do if you sell out your integrity today. A lot of these people in the media are guilty by omission, but I knew one thing would happen eventually. I knew when their backs got pushed against the wall, when they were told, you don't matter anymore, some of them would step up and go, what the hell are you doing to me? Hey man, I'm in the press. I'm the media. You can't just throw me out of court and shut the doors and talk behind private conversations. This is a court hearing. When you start seeing this, you know the Democrats are at their end. That's what I know. I know when you see stuff like Caitlin Collins saying this, the press is pushing back at this. She didn't say, I'm pushing back. She didn't say Fox is pushing back. She said, we, the press, is pushing back on this. We don't like this shit. We could use and have plausible deniability and said the orange man bad, but now we can see what you just did. We saw it with our own eyes. We were in the courtroom. We saw you tell this esteemed lawyer, don't roll your friggin' eyes at me. We saw you tell this esteemed lawyer, stop with the gesticulations and exclamations. You don't know who I am? I'm Judge Frigid Merchant. We saw that. We're the media. It is our job to report what's going on here. And now you've crossed the line by telling us we got to get out. Remember, these people have held their water for so long. And now they're in a position where, oh, wait a second. We saw some crazy shit today. We heard their witness say I stole $60,000. We saw you get pissed off at Costello. We saw you empty out the courtroom and make us stand in the hall. This ain't right. There's nothing right about this. That's what the line that he crossed today, and he can't come back from it. Excuse me. There may be people in the media who will talk to them and say, hey, just get in line, don't do this. But a real reporter, like I said, they can use plausible deniability. I don't like Trump. I don't like what he says. But now you're making me wonder. You just made me wonder today. And because of what you did, I'm suspect. I tried to buy into everything. I tried to buy into the Stormy stuff. I tried to buy into the E. Jean Carroll. I covered it for your benefit. I even looked the other way on a lot of Michael Cohen stuff. Yet today, the guy went on the stand and he said something that not a single person watching is okay with. You lied, but now you just said, truthfully, I stole $60,000 from that man. That man that you said you were loyal to, you just admitted to stealing $60,000 from him. I don't know what kind of financial position you may be in. I understand we all know that Donald Trump has a lot of money. Doesn't matter. Would you be okay with your neighbor, somebody breaking into their house and stealing $60,000 worth of jewelry, no matter what their political position is? I wouldn't. Would you be okay with a judge saying, I understand you're from CNN, you're from MSNBC, you're from such and such, get out? What do you mean get out? We've been here every single day. We've helped you get your word out. And now that you're under duress, you want to tell us, you're telling us, get the hell out? Get out of my courtroom? Shut it down? Stop talking? Don't look at me side-eye? Don't roll your eyes? Who the F are you? Who the F are you to tell people that they can't act a certain way? I think a lot of those reporters went, wait a second, we understand that you gagged Trump. Now you're gagging us? See how that works? You see how that might have hit home? Like, whoa, wait a second. Wait, you were way too comfortable with that. Hey, Judge Merchant, you got way too comfortable telling us all get out. Trump has always said, they really want you. I'm just in their way. Judge Merchant just proved that today. We're going to shut you up too, Miss MSNBC and Miss CNN. We're coming for you too. Just not yet. They saw that today. That's what Midas Touch won't tell you. What these people on these other networks won't acknowledge is that if what's coming happens, they're not going to be spared either. The smart people are looking at this and saying, wait a minute, I just saw what authoritarianism is right to my face. Shut up and get out. Real reporters with integrity would say, that's not cool. Yeah, I'm not on the jury. You don't have to worry about me. What were you hiding? You already moved the jury out. What were you hiding from the reporters? What was said once those reporters were taken out of the room? That's what everybody should be wondering right now. I understand you basically take the jury out and you ask the jury to chill. We got to discuss some things. What were you hiding from the press? They're not party to the case. They're not on the jury. What were you afraid of the press seeing? And I think a lot of people are asking themselves that question tonight. And I think a lot of the talk shows that happen tonight, you're going to see that maybe come up. How did he just shut down the First Amendment right of the press? I'm going to talk to you guys tomorrow, but I'm going to leave you with that so you can think about that for yourself. It's really deep. It's really deep when you just basically embrace that and say to yourself, a judge might have stepped over the line today because they need to convict Trump that bad. So stay tuned for tomorrow, 9:30 a.m. They go back to court. I don't know what's going to happen. I would presume he's going to deny the dismissal. He's not going to declare a mistrial, and they're going to move forward with convicting Trump. He has to. It's so screwed up at this point, but I don't know what they do to save this. It's horrible. And just so you know, if it matters, there's no way a conviction is upheld by the appellate court. Ain't going to happen. But that's not what they want. All right, stay frosty. Be safe.